Baiklah, kita akan lanjutkan kembali masih dalam lomba pidato bahasa Inggris di saat ini. Dan untuk peserta berikutnya kami panggil remaja Steward Ezekiel Amisan, utusan dari Jemaat GMIBM Bethlehem Tobongon, wilayah Modayak, dengan judul
Being teenagers with character, teenagers who are culture, and teenagers who have competitiveness.
Dipersilakan.
To all of us. More enthusiasm. Shalom. Dear remember the video sound activity. Good evening, madam. Dear Gaminia, sir, madam, yo, Sunday school children are welcome to be present at this place. As well as your friends, who I love and I proud. Introduce me, Steward Claudio Ezekiel Amisan, representative of the GMIBM Bethlehem Tobongon, Congregation Modayak Region. Praise and thanks shall be offered to our Lord Jesus Christ, the head of the church, for his love and generosity. That today as teenagers, we can gratefully celebrate the GMIBM Day from the GMIBM Sound activities in 2024. On this happy occasion, I would like a little applause. Being a teenager with character, teenager who are culture, and teenager who have competitiveness. Parents and friends of teenagers who are happy today in this era of digitalization. We are on great way superior human beings. So that we can compete with the outside world. If we can afford, then we will be out of debt. Like this, teenagers are also great. Always be up to it or keep up with the times because teenagers later carry the burden of the development of the country being home. The question now is, are we as teenagers ready? And what provisions would we have? There are three things that need to be. First, become a teenager with character. Maintain a teenager who is religious or obedient to Jesus Christ. Healthy, intelligent, and productive. Second, having a sense of culture. They say to be culture because you have good sense and reason for thoughts and feelings, are polite and friendly. And third, having a sense of culture, having commitments. Our teenager, they are the products of the medically higher defense competition. If we have these three things, character, culture, and competitive, certainly we will never be applied to the outside world. We will become the nation who can be relied on within ours. The nation is there. To become the nation, let's start now. Let's start improving ourselves. From day to class, busy with the thoughts of the day, we fix all our bad habits. We move in a better direction that has a positive impact on our future. Don't think, because we will still young. We will see when we grow up. That is our wrong assumption. Instead, let's prepare ourselves as early as possible. Because the future belongs to those who prepare today. Cherish the life today. Beautiful, definitely awaits. Then we must be ready from now on journey to the kingdom. The Lord Jesus will definitely help. Don't be afraid. Don't be nervous. Don't be afraid. That's all I can say. Sorry if there are unknown words. Thank you for your attention. Shalom. Finally, good evening, manager. From manager for good evening.
Oke, itulah penampilan yang luar biasa dari peserta Edward Ezekiel Amisan, utusan dari Jemaat GMIBM Betlehem Tobongon. Diinformasikan kami panitia telah menyiapkan kotak partisipasi untuk membantu kegiatan remaja GMIBM Bermazmur. Peserta selanjutnya kami panggil remaja Frederica Isabel Kansil, utusan dari Jemaat GMIBM Solafide Mogolai, Wilayah Tumubui. Judul pidato,
Resilient Generation in the Globalization Era as a Glacis of Dignified Nation.
Dipersilakan untuk naik panggung.
Good evening. Shalom. Peace be upon us, the honorable judges, and all my beloved audiences. First and foremost, let us give thanks because of the love and inclusion of Jesus Christ today we can gather in this place that we have enjoyed. Thank you for the wonderful opportunity that has been given to me to deliver a speech to the theme of teenagers with characters, cultures, and competitiveness, which I will summarize with the time of great generation in the era of globalization as the classes of dignified nation. As we already know, teenagers are the hope of the nation. Where the change of the nation in the future, it's very dependent on them. Teenagers are said to be precious. In the story of the nation of civilization, the younger generation is mentioned as a very valuable asset. In every development of civilization, the younger is always present to pioneer in it all. This indicates that the importance of the role of teenagers in advancing the nation is not something that can be underestimated. However, nowadays, we see a lot of teenagers who follow the flow of globalization to the point of neglecting their important role in society. They fall into misguidance in that environment. They are carried away by this environment without realizing that it can make it difficult for them to reach their true identity and realize that the role of the nation is very valuable. In fact, the future leader of the nation is come from the younger generation. No doubt that we certainly also expect that the future leader of Indonesian state is come from the younger generation who have good and noble characters, love the nation and culture, are able to maintain the integrity of creation in the era of science, technology, and art. And who knows, one of the GMIBM teenagers here will become the future leader for Indonesia. We still wait on the possibility of the good future, right? As a generation living in the age of digitalization, we as teenagers are faced with various phenomena that certainly affect our way of thinking and behaving. But how can we say on the right path that is the power that environment around us? Here, education about good character building, such as loving and preserving the nation and culture, should be important institution that is considered by various educational institutions. Not only that, but the role of parents at home is also greatly effective. Furthermore, regretting technology that's increasingly developing repeatedly, we as teenagers are always preparing ourselves to always be aware or be sensitive to the latest world condition. Such teenagers will be compete and use technology appropriately to benefit themselves and society. This is what we hope for, a great young generation that is able to bring a good change to the nation through the times in the era of globalization. Being a resilient teenager who is strong in everything, when meeting with various phenomena, should be our vision. That way, living life as a younger generation will be more directed. Eliminate ignorant thoughts and try to join some communities that can improve our moral characters for a better. Join art activities in your neighborhood. Be diligent in church activities. Attend seminar of technology to support the education. Those are some of the way for us. If we are not forced to instill or warn us such a thing from now on, what are we waiting for and when? If we don't start it by ourselves, then who will? So, from now on, let us be promised to be teenagers who always improve themselves with noble characters in the eyes of God. Always love and preserve our culture with pride. Here, both technological change and also improve ourselves to face the future. Also, in addition, include Jesus in every walk of your life, so that we are always protected when doing something that is not good or not right. Actually, we know who we will become. The most important thing now is how we prepare ourselves to feel independence, to build the nation independence that has been obtained painstakingly by our previous nation fighters or patriots. As stated in Romans chapter 12, verse 2, it is written that do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind, that you may prove what is will for God, what is good, acceptable, and perfect. The meaning is that we should not be influenced by this world that has made bad things like the phenomena that occur in the era of globalization, and always behave in the way that is pleasing to God. Here it is also explained how to make our worship accepted by God by changing our thoughts and behavior. Through this verse, it will indirectly form a resilient young generation and according to the vision that I mentioned earlier. So, we as the younger generation must be reflect on these words of God so that we can always mention our quality of ourselves, especially in terms of behavior, so that this Indonesian nation is always mentioned, well developed, advanced, and has good dignity. Thus, I conclude this speech on this valuable occasion today. I sincerely apologize if there are words that are less pleasing to all mind and all to all attendants. Hopefully, what I have conveyed today can be useful for all of us and can be applied for our daily life. Thank you, and Jesus bless all of us. Shalom.
Iya, itulah penampilan yang luar biasa dari remaja Frederica Isabel Kansil, utusan dari Jemaat GMIBM Solafide Mogolain. Sekali lagi, mana Jemaat Solafide? Berikan aplaus. Ya, terima kasih. Dan disampaikan panitia telah menyiapkan kotak partisipasi untuk membantu kegiatan remaja GMIBM Bermazmur. Ini sudah di... Berikut kami panggil peserta selanjutnya atas nama remaja Siseli E.A. Tuyu, utusan dari Jemaat GMIBM Immanuel Sinindian, Wilayah Tumubui. Judul Pidato:
Empowering tomorrow, forging character, embracing culture, and excelling in a competitive world.
Dipersilakan untuk naik panggung.
Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed judges, and all my fellow Christian teenagers that I'm proud of, Shalom! With gratitude in our hearts and a sense of purpose in our spirits,
I stand before you today, recognizing the divine providence that has brought us together. All praise to the Almighty God who has granted us the opportunity to meet in this delightful chance. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Giselle Elaine Akapatuyu. I'm 13 years old and I'm from GMIBM Manuel Sindia. Today, I would like to deliver a speech entitled Empowering Tomorrow, Forging Character, Embracing Culture, and Excelling in a Competitive World. Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed judges, distinguished guests, and fellow Christian teenagers that I love, in a world brimming with challenges and uncertainties, it is imperative that we turn our attention to the very backbone of our future, the young generation. Character, the bedrock of a thriving society, is more crucial now than ever. In an age marked by technological advancements and fast-paced changes, the ability to uphold values such as integrity, resilience, and empathy becomes a guiding light. As the generation who holds the future of the world, we must not only possess academic prowess, but also exhibit the moral fortitude to navigate a complex world with unwavering ethical principles. Cultural understanding is the linchpin in fostering global harmony. With the world sinking into a global village, it is paramount that teenagers develop an appreciation for diverse cultures, languages, and traditions. By embracing and respecting cultural differences, we not only enrich our own lives, but also contribute to building bridges of understanding across borders, fostering a world where unity prevails over division. In the tapestry of global challenges, competitiveness emerges as a driving force for progress. Teenagers must be equipped with the skills and knowledge to not only compete, but to excel in an increasingly competitive world. As we reflect this in the context of the world today, it is impossible to ignore the interconnected challenges we face. From the ongoing environmental crisis to the social and economic impacts of a global pandemic, our generation are inheriting a world in flux. It is our collective responsibility to empower each other, not only to adapt, but to lead in finding sustainable solutions to these challenges. Consider a canvas where the strokes of character, culture, and competitiveness intersect, forming a masterpiece that addresses the environmental crisis. Teenagers armed with strong character can champion sustainable practice, demonstrating their commitment to preserving our planet. Culturally aware and interconnected, they can collaborate across borders to share knowledge and solutions. Competitiveness fuels innovation, driving the development of sustainable technologies and practice. Dear fellow teenagers, as we stand on the threshold of adulthood, let me convey a message of empowerment and responsibility. We are not just the future. We are the architects of the change today. It begins with acknowledging the power we hold in shaping our characters, embracing diverse cultures, and embracing competitiveness with a sense of a purpose. In the words of Mahatma Gandhi, be the change that you wish to see the world. Each one of us has the capacity to be a positive force, to lead by example, and to initiate the transformation we desire in the world. As we navigate the challenges of adolescence, let us draw inspiration from the Bible. Specifically, Philippians 4, verse 13. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. This verse serves as a reminder that with faith and determination, we can overcome obstacles, cultivate strong character, and contribute meaningfully to the world. Being a good Christian teenager involves not only upholding moral values, but actively participating in the betterment of society. Let our actions echo the teachings of Jesus, who urged us to love one another, care for the marginalized, and be peacemakers. As young Christians, our commitment to kindness, compassion, and empathy becomes a testament to the transformative power of faith. It starts with simple acts, reaching out to a friend in need, volunteering in our communities, and embracing the cultural diversity that surrounds us. By embodying Christian values, we become beacons of hope, illuminating the path toward a brighter and more harmonious world. Whether through academics, arts, or community service, our endeavors can leave an indelible mark on the world, reflecting the transformative power of Christ's teachings. My dear fellow teenagers that I'm proud of, let us rise to the occasion. Be the change, not just for ourselves, but for the world. With the strength of character, cultural appreciation, and competitiveness fueled by purpose, we can make a lasting impact. As good Christian teenagers, our actions speak volumes, echoing the love and compassion exemplified by Christ. Thank you, and may God's grace guide our journey.
Ya, itulah penampilan yang sungguh luar biasa yang disampaikan oleh remaja Siseli Ea Tuyu, utusan jemaat GMIBM Immanuel Sinindian. Mana jemaat Sinindian? Mana jemaat GMIBM Sinindian? Berikan aplaus, berikan aplaus. Iya, terima kasih. Disampaikan panitia telah menyiapkan kotak partisipasi untuk membantu kegiatan remaja GMIBM Bermazmur. Ya, peserta selanjutnya kami panggil remaja Abrielto Esrabane, utusan dari jemaat GMIBM Musafir Genggulang, wilayah Kota Mobagu. Judul pidato
Christian teens with Christian character.
Dipersilakan.
Boleh. Sikat sedikit. Boleh. Good evening, Shalom. First of all, praise the name of God, who because of His love, we are all still given the opportunity to enjoy the bread of life and all the blessings bestowed upon us. Before I continue my speech, allow me to introduce myself. My name is Abrielto Esrabane, a representative from Musafir Genggulang congregation with the title of the speech, Christian Teens with Christian Character. Ladies and gentlemen, judges, and friends of teens at the GMIBM. In the era of globalization, which is full of various challenges, there is a great need for Christian teenagers who are strong in character and have strong moral values. The role of the church, family, and environment is very influential in providing support, education, and guidance to Christian teens in facing challenges, such as influence technology and negative temptations. Collaboration between church, family, school, and those related to them is the key in forming the character of Christian teenagers. The question now is, what and how is the ideal character so that it can show that we are teenagers with character? In the context of Christian education, the ideal teenage character is in accordance with the character of Christ. So,
What can be categorized as the character of Christ? We can see these things in the attitude and behaviors of teenagers in their daily life, including caring about others, being honest, obeying their duties and responsibilities, having a love for everyone, and always being humble. Adolescents with character also have distinctive characteristics, namely healthy, intelligent, devout, productive, and efficient. Ladies and gentlemen, judges, and God's beloved teenage friends. Adolescents who have strong and sturdy characters tend to be able to prevent the emergence of juvenile delinquency. Many teenagers today are trapped in various negative behaviors such as drugs, promiscuity, browse, smoking, and so on. Teenagers today are also vulnerable to the rise of various things, to the development of technology and communication, which provide the widest opportunities to teenagers to access various things that are not only useful for advancing human life, but are also accessing things related to pornography, violence, and that's it. At this time, to overcome these things, it is very necessary to have a variety of creative activities that are liked by teenagers, whether in the fields of religion, sport, art and culture, science and technology, or various other social activities. Being culture means how we as teenagers creatively pour out what God has given us and use it for the glory of God's name. If we have singing talent, business talent, or other talent that God has given us, be creative with our own talents. Culture is formed from several elements, namely religion, politics, customs, and many more. In our country, Indonesia today, apart from local culture, there is also foreign culture which is developing rapidly. The influx of foreign culture causes teenagers to be more inclined toward Western style rather than preserving Indonesia culture. Why is that? This is because teenagers are afraid of being said to be behind the times. Friends of teenagers. We as teenagers with character and culture must be able to see whether foreign culture entering our country as a positive or negative impact on the life of us Christian teenagers. Ladies and gentlemen, judges, and friends of teenagers who are blessed and loved by God. Of all the things that influence teenagers in culture, what is up is for us teenagers to be more selective in choosing which culture can make us superior teenagers. The proverbs say, we don't need to chase happiness like a kitten chasing its own tail. Because it is precisely when we remain silent and be grateful for what we have that we have true happiness. Let's love our own culture and be Christian teenagers who are proud of Indonesian culture and use foreign culture as a reason to see development in the current era. Remember that a great nation is a nation that respects its own culture. Teenage friends and judges that I respect. One of the valuable assets for a nation and state is human research. And teenagers play an important role in improving the quality of the nation. In this case, the teenage generation is expected to be able to be competitive, productive, and efficient. Every one of us teenagers definitely has abilities, talents, and advantage that other teenagers don't have. For that reason, let's develop our potential, channel our talents, and use the advantage we have to become competitive teenagers. Why do we need to all that? Because we are teenagers who live in millennial times and teenagers who will be part of Indonesian golden generation in 2045. The golden generation of 2045 can be realized by preparing a young generation that is qualified, competitive, and has a high sense of nationalism. Friends of teenagers. We are proud to be teenagers with character, culture, and competitiveness because we are the hope of the nation, we are the determinants and heirs of the nation, and the backbone of the church. God's words in Jeremiah chapter 29, verse 11 says, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans to give you a hope and future." Thank you. God bless us. Good evening. Shalom.
Oke, itulah penampilan yang luar biasa dari remaja Abrilto Esra Bane. Mana jemaat Genggulang? Mana jemaat Genggulang? Berikan aplaus. Iya, terima kasih. Disampaikan bahwa panitia telah menyiapkan kotak partisipasi untuk menunjang kegiatan remaja GMIBM Bermazmur. Masuk partisipasi dari Jemaat Solafide Mogolaing sebesar Rp250.000. Oke, kita lanjut peserta selanjutnya, peserta terakhir dari lomba pidato kategori bahasa Inggris. Kami panggil remaja Reina Marcelina Manansal, utusan jemaat GMIBM Alpha Omega Mariri Lama, wilayah Mariri. Judul pidato,
Fruitful Christian Teenagers.
Dipersilakan untuk naik panggung.
turun leka. Begini. Tes. Tes. Shalom. Once again, shalom. First of all, I would like to thank God for His blessing and mercy, so we can get here in this precious moment. And thank you to the honorable jury and audience who received me today. Ladies and gentlemen, now I will deliver a speech with the title Christian Teenagers Who Gives Fruit. Before I deliver my speech, let me introduce myself. My name is Reina Manansal from GMIBM Alpha Omega Mariri Lama. Ladies and gentlemen, we all know that teenagers are the main pillars in the development of nations and churches. Teenagers are the backbone of a country's future because it is on their hands that the future of the country and the church will be entrusted. Therefore, the role of teenagers in the life of a nation and church is very important to pay attention to. There are at least 3 aspects that teenagers need to develop in their personal and social lives. First of all, good character. Yes, good character is the foundation of all positive behavior. Teenagers with character have integrity, honesty, and responsibility. It's not just about actions in public, but also how they act when no one is paying attention. By forming strong characters, teenagers will become a solid foundation for a society with integrity. Furthermore, we cannot separate character from culture. Culture is the heritage that must be protected and respected. Cultured teenagers not only appreciate the heritage of their ancestors, but also open themselves to diversity. In this era of globalization, maintaining culture is a challenge, but it is important to maintain our identity. Cultured youth bring diversity as a strength, not as a divider. Ladies and gentlemen, the last aspect is competitiveness. In this era, we are facing increasingly complex and competitive challenges. Teenagers who have character and understand culture will be better, prepared to face change, pursue their dreams, and become competitive persons. They have the ability to adapt and collaborate with people from any kind of backgrounds. In other words, good character helps maintain culture, and the combination of the two forms a strong for competitiveness. Teenagers who have character and adhere to cultural values will become agents of positive change in society. Ladies and gentlemen, so let's together inspire and support teenagers to develop into individuals with character, culture, and competitiveness. This is our investment in a better future where teenagers become strong pillars and contribute positively in teenagers. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. It was my honor to deliver my speech in front of you. Shalom!
Ya, itulah penampilan yang luar biasa dari remaja Rena Marcelina Manansal utusan wilayah GMIBM Alfa Omega Mariri Rama. Sekali lagi mana jemaat Mariri Rama? Berikan aplaus. Iya, thank you very much. Dia informasikan bahwa panitia menyediakan kotak partisipasi untuk membantu kegiatan remaja GMIBM Bermazmur. Dan ini juga merupakan peserta yang terakhir dalam lomba pidato kategori bahasa Inggris. Disampaikan kepada jemaat yang hadir pada malam hari ini, jangan dulu beranjak dari tempat duduk karena kami langsung membacakan hasil nilai yang sudah diberikan oleh tim juri. Ya baiklah, saat ini kita akan mendengarkan hasil nilai yang diberikan oleh tim juri. Yang pertama dari jemaat GMIBM Betlehem Tobongon wilayah Modayak dengan jumlah nilai 60,60. Selanjutnya dari jemaat GMIBM Solafide Mogolai wilayah Tumubui dengan jumlah nilai 87,40. Berikut dari jemaat GMIBM Immanuel Sinindian wilayah Tumubui dengan jumlah nilai 85,70. Dan selanjutnya dari jemaat GMIBM Musafir Ganggulang wilayah Kota Mubagu dengan nilai 85,68. Dan dari jemaat GMIM Alfa Omega Mariri Lama wilayah Mariri dengan jumlah nilai 80,80. Itulah perolehan nilai yang sudah diberikan oleh tim juri untuk kategori pidato bahasa Inggris. Dan saat ini telah masuk partisipasi dari jemaat Alfa Omega Mariri Lama berjumlah 100